When you think of the Beastie Boys, names like Mike D, MCA, and Ad Rock instantly come to mind. Three New York kids who flipped the script and became hip-hop pioneers. But before the gold records, the Adidas tracksuits, and the turntables, the Beastie Boys were something else entirely. A hardcore punk band. And among the very first to make noise with that name was Jeremy Shatan, a lesser-known figure whose brief but notable presence helped shape the earliest days of a genre-bending phenomenon. Jeremy Shatan was part of the original four-piece Beastie Boys lineup formed in 1981. Alongside Michael Diamond, Mike D, Adam Yauch, MCA, and guitarist John Barry, Shatan played bass in what was, at the time, a raw and gritty punk band born out of Manhattan's underground music scene. This was long before their Def Jam days, before Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons took notice, and long before they ever picked up a mic to rap. That version of the Beastie Boys was fueled by the DIY ethos of the early 80s New York hardcore scene. Influenced by bands like Bad Brains and Black Flag, their sound was fast, loud, and unapologetically raw. They practiced in cramped basements, played tiny clubs like CBGB and Max's Kansas City, and circulated through the same rebellious circuit as other East Village punks. Shatan, with his background in punk and noise rock, was a perfect fit. The original lineup recorded the band's first EP, Pollywog Stew, in 1982. Released on Rat Cage Records, it featured hardcore tracks like Egg Raid on Mojo, Transit Cop, and Beastie. It's noisy, aggressive, and miles apart from the funk-infused, sample-heavy sound that would define the Beastie Boys later. Yet, it's essential listening for fans wanting to understand the band's roots, and Jeremy Shatan's bass lines are all over it. Though he didn't stay in the group long, Shatan's contributions helped plant the seeds of what the Beastie Boys would become. His role in the band was foundational. He was there as they figured out their identity, shifting from joke songs to serious compositions, from underground gigs to local notoriety. In many ways, Shatan helped stabilize the early lineup and bring shape to the punk chaos they were brewing. However, as the band began to evolve, so did its members. By late 1982, Shatan left the Beastie Boys, making way for the next lineup change that would see Adam Horovitz, Ad Rock, eventually join and push the group toward its legendary transformation into hip-hop innovators. Though his time was short, Shatan's exit was a natural step in the band's chameleonic evolution. After leaving the band, Jeremy Shatan continued to explore music on his own terms. He eventually moved away from punk and hardcore, shifting into ambient, experimental, and contemporary classical compositions. He began recording under the name Null Sleep, and later as an ambient artist using his own name. Far removed from the aggressive power chords of his early years, Shatan's later music is subtle, atmospheric, and deeply introspective. Shatan also pursued a career in architecture and urban planning, proving himself to be a creative force in more than one arena. Though he doesn't often speak publicly about his time with the Beastie Boys, when he does, it's with humility and honesty. He acknowledges the strange paths music careers can take and takes pride in having been a part of something that later reshaped pop culture. For Beastie Boys fans, Jeremy Shatan represents the band's raw DNA, the early days when it was still being built from the ground up. While MCA, Mike D, and Ad Rock rightfully get the lion's share of attention, figures like Shatan deserve recognition for helping set the stage. Without those punk beginnings, the group might never have become the hip-hop innovators they're known as today. Jeremy Shatan reminds us that not all legacies are measured in platinum records or sold-out arenas. Sometimes it's about being there at the start, striking the first chord, and laying the groundwork for a cultural revolution, even if your name doesn't end up on the marquee.